The world held its breath, gripped by uncertainty and fear, as headlines blared urgent updates and leaders scrambled to respond. In living rooms and boardrooms across the globe, people watched anxiously, aware that the next few days could shape the future of international relations. Tensions soared as China and Japan teetered on the edge of conflict in the East China Sea, a region already fraught with historical grievances and strategic rivalry. The waters, usually bustling with commercial ships, became a stage for military posturing and high-stakes diplomacy. At the heart of this crisis were the uninhabited Senkaku, known as Diaoyu in China, islands, tiny specks of land that became the epicenter of a geopolitical storm. These islands, though small and barren, symbolized much more: national pride, historical memory, and the pursuit of strategic advantage in the region. The standoff quickly drew in the United States, whose presence in the region added another layer of complexity. As warships maneuvered and diplomats exchanged warnings, global markets trembled, with investors fearing the economic fallout of a potential conflict between major world powers. A direct confrontation would have been catastrophic, not just for the region, but for the entire world. Millions of lives hung in the balance, and the global supply chains that connect continents faced unprecedented disruption. The stakes could not have been higher. On the water, Chinese and Japanese vessels engaged in a tense maritime dance, each side determined not to back down. Every maneuver was scrutinized, every radio transmission analyzed, as the risk of a single miscalculation loomed large, a spark that could ignite a wider disaster. Fighter jets scrambled overhead, slicing through the sky as a show of force. Meanwhile, nationalist fervor surged on both sides, with crowds rallying in the streets and social media amplifying calls for action. In such a charged atmosphere, compromise seemed almost impossible. Yet, in a surprising and dramatic turn, an agreement was reached in December 2025. Through intense back-channel negotiations and diplomatic efforts, both nations managed to pull back from the brink, averting disaster and opening the door to renewed dialogue. The result is a fragile truce, an uneasy peace that offers a glimmer of hope. It stands as a testament to the power of diplomacy, and a reminder that even in the darkest moments, dialogue can prevail over conflict. Understanding how this crisis unfolded, and how it was ultimately resolved, is crucial for anyone concerned about the future of global peace and stability. The lessons learned here may shape the way we handle international disputes for years to come. To grasp the crisis, we must look back at the fraught history between China and Japan. The Second World War left deep mistrust, fueling nationalist sentiments and making compromise difficult. The islands, Senkaku to Japan, Diaoyu to China, are claimed by both, each citing history and sovereignty. The dispute reignited in the 1970s after reports of potential oil and gas reserves, adding economic stakes to historical grievances. Incidents like Japan's 2012 purchase of the islands, or Chinese fishing incursions, have repeatedly inflamed tensions. Nationalists in both countries use the islands as rallying cries, making any concession politically perilous. This volatile mix means even minor incidents risk igniting a much larger conflict. Calm shattered in mid-2024 as Chinese vessels maintained a near-constant presence in contested waters. Japan responded with increased patrols, creating a volatile maritime standoff. Nationalist protests erupted in both countries, pressuring leaders to take harder stances. Diplomatic channels frayed, and the U.S. reaffirmed its security commitments to Japan, raising the stakes. Close encounters between military aircraft heightened the risk of accidental conflict. The world watched as the crisis escalated, fearing a spark could trigger disaster. The situation seemed destined for confrontation, until a diplomatic breakthrough changed the course. The eventual agreement was all the more remarkable given how close both sides came to the edge. 2025 was a year of high-stakes diplomacy, with every move risking renewed confrontation. Japan's new Prime Minister, Sanae Takaichi, known for her tough stance on China, faced immediate tests. Her government hosted U.S. President Trump, securing a critical minerals deal and pledging increased defense spending. These moves signaled strength but also heightened Beijing's suspicions. Behind the scenes, economic pressures and the risk of military miscalculation drove all sides to seek a diplomatic off-ramp. Back-channel communications intensified, as leaders balanced domestic expectations with the urgent need to avoid war. The path to talks was fraught, requiring careful navigation of political landmines and alliance dynamics. Ultimately, it was this delicate balancing act that opened the door to negotiations. The US played a nuanced role, aiming to prevent conflict rather than pick sides. Publicly, President Trump's Asia tour and defense pledges reassured Japan and signaled resolve to China. Privately, American officials urged restraint, encouraging Japan to seek de-escalation. This dual approach, public deterrence, private persuasion, was instrumental in nudging both sides toward diplomacy. By backing Japan while urging caution, the US created space for talks without escalating tensions. The critical minerals deal and alliance reaffirmation strengthened Tokyo's position. Meanwhile, quiet diplomatic pressure helped keep the door to negotiation open. America's balancing act as security guarantor and peace broker was key to averting disaster. The crisis showed how US engagement can catalyze regional stability. In December 2025, China agreed to a Japanese proposal to de-escalate the standoff. The agreement isn't a final settlement, but a framework for crisis management and trust building. Its cornerstone is a direct military hotline, allowing commanders to communicate instantly during crises. Regular, high-level talks and joint search and rescue exercises are also part of the deal, fostering cooperation. These measures aim to prevent accidental clashes and build familiarity between forces. The announcement was met with cautious optimism, with leaders and markets alike welcoming the pause in tensions. The US praised the move, seeing it as a victory for diplomacy. While limited, the agreement provides a platform for future dialogue and a much-needed break from escalation. It's a first step toward a more stable relationship in the region. This agreement is more than just a technical fix. It marks a significant turning point in the political and economic landscape of the Indo-Pacific. The deal is a testament to the region's growing maturity, as two of Asia's largest powers choose dialogue over confrontation. It's a signal to the world that Asia is capable of managing its own affairs, even amid complex rivalries and historical tensions. For China, the agreement helps stabilize a volatile front, reducing the risk of accidental clashes and projecting an image of responsible leadership. For Japan, it not only lowers immediate security risks, but also strengthens its alliances and reassures its partners. Both countries are sending a message that they can prioritize stability and economic growth, even while their core disputes remain unresolved. The East China Sea is a lifeline for global trade, with trillions of dollars in goods passing through each year. This deal reassures businesses, investors, and neighboring countries that the region will remain open and secure for commerce. It's a move that could boost confidence in Asian markets and encourage further economic cooperation. By establishing direct crisis communication, China and Japan are taking greater ownership of their security management. This hotline is more than a symbolic gesture. It's a practical tool to prevent misunderstandings and manage incidents before they escalate. It shows a willingness to engage, even when trust is limited. The pact could serve as a model for other regional disputes, demonstrating that even long-standing rivals can find ways to reduce risks and build mechanisms for peace without having to resolve every disagreement. It's a blueprint for pragmatic diplomacy in a region full of unresolved tensions. The United States remains a central player, using its influence to create space for regional solutions. Washington's presence reassures allies and deters escalation, but it also encourages local actors to take more responsibility for their own security. The agreement doesn't signal an American withdrawal from Asia. Instead, it highlights the continued importance of US engagement in maintaining regional stability, while also supporting Asian-led initiatives for peace. For other Asian nations, this deal is a valuable case study in managing disputes with larger neighbors. It shows that with resolve, dialogue, and creative diplomacy, even smaller countries can find ways to protect their interests and promote peace. Ultimately, the success of this agreement could shape the future of security in Asia, inspiring new approaches to conflict management and cooperation across the region. Experts view the agreement as a positive step forward, signaling a willingness from both China and Japan to engage in dialogue and reduce tensions. However, they caution that this is not a permanent solution to the complex issues that have long divided the two nations. The agreement represents progress, but it is only a single milestone on a much longer road toward lasting peace and stability in the region. While the deal helps address the immediate risk of accidental escalation at sea, it does not resolve the underlying deep mistrust or the competing territorial claims that have fueled decades of tension. The core disputes over sovereignty and national pride remain unresolved, and these issues could resurface at any time. The real test will come in the months and years ahead, whether both sides are willing to use the hotline and participate in joint exercises with genuine transparency and good faith. Only through consistent, open communication can misunderstandings be avoided and trust gradually built. Domestic politics also play a crucial role. Political shifts, leadership changes, or a surge in nationalism on either side could easily derail the fragile progress made so far. Public opinion and political pressures may push leaders to take a harder stance, threatening the spirit of cooperation. Sustained diplomatic engagement is essential, not just between China and Japan, but also involving the United States and other regional powers. Their continued involvement can help keep the agreement on track and encourage both sides to honor their commitments. The deal reduces the immediate chance of war and brings a measure of stability to a region vital for global trade and security. Yet, without further progress, it risks becoming just a temporary pause in a much longer conflict. Ultimately, success will be measured by actions, not words. The true effectiveness of these new mechanisms will only be revealed when the next crisis emerges. Will both sides respond calmly and responsibly, or will old patterns return? The potential benefits of a stable China-Japan relationship are immense, from economic growth to regional security. But significant challenges remain, and both countries must continue to work together to overcome them. This agreement marks just the beginning of a long, uncertain journey, one that will require patience, persistence, and a genuine commitment to peace from all sides involved. The December agreement is a pivotal moment in 21st century geopolitics. China and Japan step back from the brink, proving pragmatic diplomacy can prevail over nationalism. The framework is fragile, built on shared interests rather than trust. The coming months will reveal if commitments become real action at sea and in the air. Peace in Asia is a global necessity. Conflict here would trigger worldwide economic and humanitarian crises. The world must remain vigilant, supporting dialogue and de-escalation. This agreement opens a window for cooperation, but the underlying issues remain unresolved. For the first time in years, there's a clear path away from conflict. The world must hope both nations choose to stay on it.